A single silver coin. The only self-portrait Cleopatra herself approved. Is this the most famous woman in history, or the most misrepresented? For a century, Hollywood gave us a Cleopatra of extraordinary, dark-eyed beauty. Billions of people carry that image. But how was it constructed, and from what? No painting survives done from life. No universally authenticated sculpture. No written physical description by anyone who knew her. The evidentiary record is thinner than almost anyone realizes. Cleopatra VII was the last of a 300-year Macedonian Greek dynasty, founded by one of Alexander the Great's own generals. She was not Egyptian by blood, but she proved Egyptian in spirit. So what did she actually look like? We can trace her Macedonian paternal line through the Ptolemaic dynasty for over 250 years, a dynasty that married their own siblings to keep the bloodline pure. The question has been asked many times: was Cleopatra black? We know her father was Macedonian Greek. Her mother's ancestry is more murky. She could have been Egyptian, or North African, or Greek. But Cleopatra herself was not black. Every surviving coin shows unmistakably Greek features. Every accepted bust, Berlin, Vatican, Churchill, the same. Even if her mother were Egyptian, ancient Egyptians were North African, not sub-Saharan. And regarding the 2009 skeletal analysis of her sister Arsinoe, it has been discredited by multiple subsequent studies. Mainstream classicists at Oxford, Cambridge, and Cairo University agree. She was of Macedonian Greek descent, and the Black Cleopatra narrative is a modern invention. To find the truth, we must go to Alexandria, 51 BC, the wealthiest city on earth. A 20-year-old queen had just inherited its throne, its library, and its empire. She ruled from age 20 to 39 and commissioned marble portraits and minted coins. But the best record of her appearance comes not from Alexandria, it comes from a Greek historian writing a century later. The historian was Plutarch, and while he wrote almost 100 years after her death, he drew on sources who had genuinely known her. His verdict is precise and devastating. Her beauty, he wrote, was not altogether incomparable, nor such as to strike those who saw her. Hollywood has ignored this line for over a century. But Plutarch immediately pivots to what genuinely was extraordinary. Irresistible charm in conversation, a voice he compared to a stringed instrument, and a presence that radiated into everyone around her. She spoke 9 languages: Greek, Egyptian, Aramaic, Hebrew, Arabic, Ethiopian, Median, Parthian, and Latin. No Ptolemaic ruler before her had even learned Egyptian. But for all her brilliance, Romans who had seen both Cleopatra and Octavia, Mark Antony's own wife, judged Cleopatra not superior in beauty. Octavia was simply a respectable noblewoman. Dio Cassius, writing even later, calls her a woman of surpassing beauty. But even he immediately adds that her voice and social intelligence were equally central to her effect on people. One small physical detail does survive. The anecdote of Cleopatra smuggled to Caesar inside a rolled sack strongly implies a body petite enough to be carried through a palace entirely undetected. That meeting with Caesar was the beginning. But before any Roman alliance, she was running one of the most sophisticated economies in the world. She devalued currency to manage debt, navigated a famine, and revived Egyptian traditions. At the Battle of Actium, she personally commanded 60 warships against Octavian's fleet. The battle was lost, but she was there, on a flagship, in armor. She kept Egypt independent for 21 years against the most powerful empire the world had ever seen. Caesar and Antony didn't fall for just a pretty face. After her death, Octavian, or Emperor Augustus, needed a story. A foreign seductress who had bewitched good Roman men with her body, not her mind. The propaganda began almost immediately. Roman propaganda became Renaissance painting. Renaissance painting became Victorian fantasy. Victorian fantasy became Hollywood. Each era remade her as its own version of dangerous, desirable femininity. Here's what we know for sure. This is the silver tetradrachm. The profile is unambiguous. A prominent aquiline nose, a strong projecting chin, a long neck. In Hellenistic and Roman artistic convention, an aquiline nose on a ruler's portrait signaled noble lineage and command, a feature to be proudly displayed, not corrected. Earlier Ptolemaic queens softened their coin portraits, whereas Cleopatra's had sharp, authority-projecting lines, not the soft ideals of Hellenistic beauty. This is the face she wanted the world to see. That face circulated across an empire in silver. But does it survive in stone? 3 marble busts scattered across 3 continents are about to answer that question. The Berlin Cleopatra is the most widely accepted genuine likeness among contemporary scholars. A marble bust wearing a royal diadem, dated to the mid-1st century BC, making it a near-contemporary portrait. Close examination reveals a prominent nose consistent with coin profiles, defined cheekbones, a strong jaw, and a steady, forward-projecting quality that reads unmistakably as authority rather than softness. Vatican Cleopatra also shows strong correspondence with the Berlin bust. The same nose profile, comparable chin projection, and the same commanding facial structure. Greco-Roman sculptors routinely idealized their subjects. The Cleopatra's accepted busts retain such pronounced individual features suggests the likeness was either closely supervised or quite deliberately literal. By overlaying coin profiles against the bust's proportions, a coherent composite portrait begins to materialize. A strong-featured Mediterranean woman in her 30s, commanding, individual, and unmistakable. Macedonian Greek ancestry provides the baseline, Mediterranean complexion, dark hair most probable, while the uncertain maternal line is acknowledged as a genuine variable in the model. The reconstruction targets her at approximately 30 years old, the height of her power, her alliance with Antony, the precise period from which the tetradrachm was minted. It bears no resemblance to the silver screen icon. The divergence is deliberate. Hollywood required an aspirational beauty ideal. Historical evidence required something truer. No reconstruction recovers her voice, or the quality Plutarch called irresistible charm. The most important things about her. If her beauty was not overwhelming by ancient standards, why did 2 of Rome's most powerful men risk everything for her? The answer lies behind the face. Cleopatra's real power was not a face that stopped armies. It was the intellect, voice, and political genius that commanded them. That was always the story. The face she chose, the face she approved. On the front. Power is never an accident, and she knew that 2,000 years before we thought to ask. History done properly takes time. With someone as well known as Cleopatra, and with sources so sparse, her reconstruction is not an easy task, but we hope you enjoyed it. As always, please like and subscribe.